Hi there, everybody. I'm Kathy Cairo with Keller Williams Greater Columbus, and we're just thrilled to have you with us again for another in our series called Transition Tuesdays. I want to give you a little bit of housekeeping information here before we get started. We've got a great lineup of experts and people to help you as you move forward with your decision to potentially sell your home in this market, and of course, looking forward to where you want to buy. On your screen, we have with us tonight, of course, I'm here. We have a representative from Trepless Communities to talk to you about the rental option. Sarah Bean is back with us to talk about making your home look terrific as a stager. Many of you have asked about the build option. With such a scarcity of homes in the Central Ohio market, what are the options when it comes to building, and what is that process like? So we have Trinity Homes with us tonight to talk to you about that. And then our helping us on the back end is Brandon Potts. Many of you have spoken to Brandon through this process. And of course, the manager of Downsize Columbus is with us tonight too, to just help along. So we're going to keep moving tonight. We value your time. We do want to let you know at the end, we're going to give you an opportunity to ask some questions, as well as if you just look at the chat button there, you're going to have the opportunity to come on. If you have questions along the way, just type them in the chat feature. We'll make sure we get back to answering all of them. So again, welcome. We're glad you're here with us tonight, and we hope you get a lot of questions answered. I'm going to start with talking about the housing market that we are in right now in Central Ohio. We hear the term all the time, the hot market that we are in, and we are indeed in one of the hottest housing markets that Central Ohio has seen in about 40 years. So what does that mean? How hot is hot? What does that mean in very practical terms? What it means is that it's a simple equation of supply and demand. In a normal housing market, and I've been doing this for almost 25 years, and when I got into the business in the mid-90s, we were in what we call a normal housing market, weighted a little bit towards the seller, and that meant we had pretty even supply and demand. And if I were to pull up all the active listings in the MLS, we would have 15,000 homes on the market at any given time. Right now, and starting back at 2013, we have rarely seen more than 5,000 homes on the market. And as of today, we have less than 3,000 homes on the market. So we are looking at many times less than 20% of the homes that we would normally have on the market. Now, you combine that with 3.5% interest rates, what that means is that if you have a home in most communities in Central Ohio, and if they are in the price ranges of average or below, you could have as many as 15 buyers or more. We've had homes that have had as many as 35 to 40 offers, not offers on your home. That's how hot our market is. Now, what does that mean to you? It means a lot of people running through your home, which we'll get to in a moment, but it also means that if your home is well priced, it will sell at top dollar in days, if not hours. The Kathy Cairo Group has instituted years ago, we instituted what we called market calming. And what that means is that if we didn't purposefully slow down the market, your home would sell in an hour, and we would not give all buyers a chance to get through. So we began to purposely slow it down, saying we're putting this on the market on Thursday, but we're not meeting with the homeowner until Monday to give everyone a chance to come through. If we didn't do that, we would have offers on your home probably within 60 minutes of it going on the market. What it means to you too is that the terms of the contract become very favorable to you. It means that you might not have to do any repairs or offer any concessions after the buyer does their home inspection. It also means that the buyer is likely and able to pay more than the appraised value of your home. That's a good thing. We tell buyers when we sit down with them in this market that we are going to redefine negotiating for them. Negotiating as a buyer for a home in Central Ohio means that negotiating starts at list price and goes up, and then we take every term in the contract and we are going to do everything we can to allow the seller to have the advantage. Now, that breaks every rule of negotiating, but that's what the buyer is willing to do to get your house in this market. What does a hot market mean to you? It means that you're very likely going to get multiple offers. It means that the buyer may be willing to clear your home of unwanted items. Believe it or not, we sell homes. Many times we'll come across, perhaps it's an estate, and mom and dad have passed away or moved to a nursing home and the house is full of stuff. And the adult kids say, we don't have any idea what to do with this. We even have buyers that say, look, take my offer and walk away. We'll clear the house of stuff. How motivated buyers are. It also means that you will not have to do repairs or improvements to your home that a normal market would require. Some of you, and if I could see you, I'd tell you to raise your hand, but how many of you either sold a home during the recession or tried to sell a home during the recession? You remember in 2009, the buyer was complaining if your appliance brands did not match, or if they're tearing your carpet, we would hear about it. And we were forced to do all of these repairs and then take a low offer on our home just to get it sold. Well, let's flip those tables. Now it is your turn to be on the end of, I like to compare it to The Bachelor, the TV show. Everyone's competing for the rose, and your home is the rose, and you get to stand there and hand it out. So it's much more fun to be a seller in 2020. So what does a hot market require of you, the homeowner? Well, first of all, it means that your home must be ready to show as soon as it goes into the MLS. Some of you remember back in the day when you would list your home, and if I were your realtor, I'd say, look, we're putting your home on the market by Tuesday. You'll probably start getting showings on Thursday or Friday, or hopefully by the weekend. What we do now is put your home on the market at noon, and your first showing might be at 1. As soon as it goes into the MLS, your phone is going to ring. You have to be ready for that. I remember telling homeowners, look, don't worry about cleaning up the basement. Let's get it on the market. You'll have time to do that after it's on the market, before your first showing. You don't have time to do anything except grab your car keys and get out to the driveway, because your home is going to have showings as soon as you put it on the market. Now, more than that, it means you must be prepared, often for a dozen or more showings the day it goes on the market. If you are in the more popular areas of buying, it will not be unusual for you to have 30 to 40 showings in a 2-day period. That means from sunup to sundown, put a revolving door on your home, because you're going to have that many showings. Now, here's the bad news. I always call this the bad side of a good coin. I was sitting with a homeowner today, and they said, how do we know when we're ready to put our home on the market? And my answer to them was, when you look around and say, I can be out of here vacant, turning over the keys in 45 days. Because that's how long it takes to close on a home. For about 30 to 45 days is how long it takes to close. And when your home is selling in a day, there you go. I can almost predict to the day when you're going to be handing over those keys and moving out. So it changes the whole ball game. You don't have time to clear out the basement after the home is on the market. You don't have time to decide what to do with that big entertainment center that you're not taking with you. All of those decisions have to be made before the sign goes in the yard, because when we press go, you are on your way to closing in 30 to 45 days. And so we have to be prepared. Now, is every home in Central Ohio a seller's market? The answer is no. If you are in high-end homes, you are in a conventional supply and demand, if not a buyer's market. And what that means is, if you have an $800, $900 million home, You are and have been for decades now in a buyer's market. Why? Simple supply and demand. Far fewer people can afford your home than the lower price ranges. And so you're not likely to get multiple offers. You're not likely to get all those benefits. But I will tell you this, you're still in a much better market than you were in 2008, 9, and 10. There are more buyers buying in that price point, but it is a much more competitive market, especially in some of our northern suburban districts, from Dublin to Olentangy, New Albany, Upper Arlington. Those $1 million home is a dime a dozen. So it becomes much more competitive to get that home sold. What is high end? Again, high end ranges. High end is any price that's 200 or 200,000 or more than the average sale price in a community. For example, Westerville's average price today is about $390. That means if your home is $590, and this is not scientific, it's anecdotal, but about right. If your home is upper fives or higher, you are high end for Westerville. Dublin's average price point is $580. That means if your home is $780 or higher in Dublin, you're high end. So whatever is the average for your community, add a couple 100,000 to it, that's your high end. If your home falls into that area, you're probably looking at a slower market than many of us. So I'm going to move on to some frequently asked questions because I get them all the time. And so I'm going to go ahead and answer some of them for you. Number one, does your home have to be perfect? In a moment, you're going to hear from one of our favorite stagers. We use her all the time, Sarah Bean. She's going to talk to you about how to give your home that wow that the buyer loves. And the answer is yes and no. No, we're in a fabulous market. In fact, in this market, if you have a home that's on railroad tracks or under power lines or needs flood insurance or has any other issues, now's the time to sell because the buyer isn't picky. There's not a lot to choose from. So the answer is no, you don't have to go in and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to make it perfect. However, this is also the market that if you do go to the effort to make your home look good, and one of the things my real estate team offers is a complimentary staging appointment with Sarah, who you're going to hear from in a moment. If you do take her suggestions, if you do make your home look wonderful, then it's going to sell generally for more. It will sell for more quickly, and buyers will fight over it. So again, it is helpful to have an improved home, but not necessary to sell it. What does priced right mean? You're going to hear me say that almost redundantly. Just as in a typical market, you must be priced right to get the buyer's attention and get multiple offers, which often drives the price up more on your home. We still see in this market an overpriced home won't sell, even as good as the market is. If some of you may have neighbors who you look down and you think, what's wrong with that home? It's still sitting here and everything else has sold in 3 days. Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the home. They just priced it too high. And buyers will walk away from that as quickly as they will in a normal market. And let me tell you another secret about this market as a homeowner. You have about 3 days to get your home sold in this market. If it isn't sold by day 5 on the outside, the buyer's going to be saying, what's wrong with that house? Isn't that crazy? We used to be thrilled when our home sold in under 30 days. Now the buyer is trained. They watch those homes. If your home is out there on day 6, 7, or 8, they're going to their realtor and saying, what's wrong with that house? There must be something wrong with it. So my job as your realtor is to price your home right. So we not only get an offer in that first 3 days, but we get multiple offers in that first 3 days. Because let me tell you another secret. It's not all about price. That's what many, many homeowners look at. But my goal as your realtor is to get you top dollar with a great lender, fully qualified buyer, represented by an excellent realtor who is going to do a home inspection without asking for any repairs, who has extra cash to bid you over appraisal and bring money to the table. And hey, do you need a month in your home after closing? we'll give it to you. That's a great offer. And we only get that offer if we get more than one offer on your home. So my goal is to get your home out there priced well, let the buyers fight over it, come out with a winner. And who's the winner? You. You're the winner, because all the terms, I've often used the analogy, it's a poker game. We want all the chips on your side of the table when this is done, and we only get that if we price your home right from the beginning. What if my home does not appraise for the purchase price the buyer has offered? We put a great price on your home. The buyers fight over it. They raise the price $15,000, $20,000. Well, who is the gatekeeper of that price? It's the bank's appraiser. That home still has to appraise. Well, again, in our contracts, it gives the buyer the option to renegotiate the price or terminate the contract if your home doesn't appraise. Unless we come well and we get that great buyer who says, look, I'm showing you I have $10,000 in cash and we'll give you $10,000 over whatever it appraises for. That's how badly we want your home. And if you're out there scratching your head saying, who would do that? I'm telling you, every buyer that has won a bid, in my experience in the last 8 years, has done that, with the exception of maybe 4 or 5 buyers. If the buyers have learned, they've been trained, I need to have cash sitting over at the side. I've got to throw that cash at the seller over appraised value or I'm not going to win. So the answer is every buyer, every winning buyer is willing and ready to do that, to get your house. How long do I have in my home after closing? Well, this is negotiated in the contract. If the buyer's getting a loan, it takes 30 to 45 days to close, and possession can be 0, meaning they want the keys at closing, or the lender will allow up to 60 days possession after closing. If you need extended possession, meaning you need time after closing, you may be in the position of having to rent your home back from the buyer for an extended period of time. But again, it's a seller's market. We can negotiate that for you to give you some time to get moved out of your home. What if I need to buy a home? What are my options? Well, that's where it gets a little sticky. Remember, this is a seller's market. And what are you after you've sold your home? You're a buyer. So now you're a buyer in a buyer's market, or I like to call it the Shark Tank. You are now in that group of people trying to buy a home. So depends on your situation. Many of you may have equity in your current home to buy your next home through a cash out home equity loan. This is also called a bridge loan. When we meet with you, we can discuss that option with you. Some of you can use cash reserves, move on to your next home, then sell your old home. You know, in 1996, that was a tricky proposition because you might get stuck owning 2 homes for a period of time. Not in this market. What we often do is get you in contract on your home, head to closing, and then once that's a firm contract, we list your old home, and many times you're closing within 2 weeks of each other. So again, we can talk about that option when we meet. The next one is you can move twice. Not pretty, but if you either cannot or do not want to do the bridge loan or have the cash to move forward, I will tell you that the realistic option is you may have to rent somewhere temporarily while you look for a home. Why is that? You're saying to me, Kathy, you know, back in 1978, I wrote a sale of home contingency offer. Well, put yourself in the position of the homeowner that you are, and you're sitting at your dining table looking at 8 offers on your home. 1 is cash, 5 are conventional mortgage, 1 is an FHA mortgage, and 1 has a home to sell. Are you even going to look at that one that has a home to sell? No, you're not. You're going to say, nice people, I'm sure their home is going to sell, but why would I take that offer when I've got all these offers over here that are ready to close? So the old days of a sale of home contingency is usually not viable, at least not on new listings. If you find a home you like where they overpriced it and it stayed out there for a month, they'll take your sale of home all day long. But a new listing, they usually will not, simply because they don't have to. They've got too many choices and all the cards are in their hand, and they can choose a better option than waiting for you to sell your home. So again, you either need to look at renting and move twice. You need to look at perhaps taking cash out of your home, buying your next home, and then selling it, paying it all back. Or some of you have the assets simply to move forward without the sale of your home. I call that the Cadillac move. You don't even worry about it. Just go find your home, buy it, turn around and sell the home you're living in. And it's much more convenient all along. How long will this market last? I don't know. I wish I had a crystal ball. We all are in a period of great uncertainty right now. We have two things coming up that could change this whole picture rather quickly. Number one is a presidential election, which we all hope we have a new president by February, but we don't know. And then secondly, COVID. We are just now beginning to see the financial fallout from COVID. Now, let me tell you in very practical terms, I said this to someone in a meeting today. They said to me, well, my friend tells me just to hold off buying a home because by February, everyone's going to be foreclosing on their homes and it's going to be a buyer's market. And I said, well, I don't think it's that cataclysmic, but if it is, it'll be February 2023 because in Ohio, we are a legislative foreclosure state. And even if the bank started today, you're probably 12 to 18 months away from being foreclosed on. So again, I wouldn't roll the dice on that if I'm a buyer. And then the other thing is, and this is pure supply and demand, Columbus, Ohio has been in the top 3 hottest housing markets for over 5 years now. Why is that? We simply don't have enough homes on the market. 3,000 homes today. We need 15,000 to have an even market. During the recession, we had 30,000 on the market. So unless 12,000 of your neighbors wake up tomorrow and decide to sell their home before Thanksgiving, we are very likely going to go back into 2021 with extremely weighted towards the seller, supply and demand. And we have no indication that interest rates are going to go high. The Federal Reserve has come out several times saying they're going to keep interest rates low to stimulate the economy. So I'm going to make an educated guess and say that we are going to be in this market at least through the first half of 2021. Now, what that does mean for you, though, is that if your plan is that you want to sell in the next year or two, then I might speed up that timetable to take advantage of the seller's market. But it is still a very speculative question to know what's going on. We often get asked, what's the COVID effect? Well, we've seen very little impact on home sales. In fact, I joke that what COVID did to Central Ohio is send all the 35-year-olds home to work at home, which they got their jobs done by noon, and then they spent the afternoon looking at houses online and taking advantage of 3.5% interest rates. So again, very little impact on home sales. We are on track to probably have another record year in 2019. However, as I said, we may have financial fallout that puts more homes on the market, starts to even out supply and demand, and that settling of the market can cause home values to stagnate and probably and likely end the frenzy in a year or so. So what about my home? What is it worth? Well, number one, it's worth more than you think, I bet. A couple things have happened in the past few months that I'll let you know about. First of all, how many of you got that tax audit, the thing from the auditor saying this is what your home is worth? One of the things I do for my clients is I send out an email saying, hey, do you think the auditor's wrong? Meaning they have overvalued your home. Let me know, and I'm happy to give you the paperwork free of charge, no obligation to go down to the auditor's office, schedule an appointment, and petition to get your taxes lowered. And Brandon will remind me, but I think I did 30 or 40 of those in the last few months where I went online, gave the information to them, out of all of those requests, only one person, I thought, yeah, the auditor's right. Their value's too high. The vast majority of them, my response to them was good news and bad news. The good news is that your home is not only worth what the auditor is saying, they're still a little bit low. The bad news is your taxes will adjust accordingly. So many of you may look at that auditor's new assessment and say, no way. And I'm here to say, yes, way, as my teenagers would say. Way, it is. That's the new value of your home. That is the result of 8 years of incredible appreciation in your home. Lower end communities, and this is not meant as a negative. I'm just saying if I'd gone back to 2010 and I said, what were the least expensive communities in Central Ohio? They would be Columbus, city of Columbus. They would be Reynoldsburg. They would be Groveport. They would be Obetz. They would be Grove City. They would be Jefferson Township. I'm not Jefferson Township, Jefferson on the west side. They would be Galloway. Who's the winners this year? All of those communities. Those have gone up by 6 and 8% every year since 2013. Why? Because all of the northern neighbors have become unaffordable, not affordable to first-time home buyers. So they have all migrated to those communities that are still affordable. We had our weekly team meeting this morning, and I was looking at a in-contract home we have on a street called Mistletoe in Gahanna. And it said it was in contract for $200,000. And I said, I remember when Mistletoe sold for $79,900. And that was one of the high-end homes. So again, these communities that used to be the low end, they are now the hottest markets. How many of you heard on the news that the second hottest zip code in the nation is 43068, Reynoldsburg? Good old Reynoldsburg. It's their time to shine. They are beat out only by Colorado Springs. And why is that? Is because you can still afford a home in Reynoldsburg. And so if you are a Reynoldsburg homeowner on tonight, you win the lottery. Your home will sell probably at a dollar figure that just blows you out of the water. So again, all homes of average sell price or below are hot. There's no bad areas. I don't care where you are in Columbus. I'm getting ready to list a home this weekend that is in an area of Columbus that if I told you what it was, you'd say, gosh, I wouldn't go there after dark. But I guarantee you we'll have multiple offers and it'll be in contract by Monday. Because again, if it's affordable, if it's livable, it's sold. And so if it is average sell price or below in any community you live in, you are in a hot market. So is now the time to sell? Well, it could be. What is your 2-year plan? If you were already looking ahead and saying, I'm going to retire, my daughter's getting married, my son's graduating from college, we're getting tired of stairs, don't want to mow the 40 acres, any of those things, and you're saying we're looking ahead for 2 years, then I would say you might want to speed up that timeline and take advantage of the market we're in. If you're sitting there saying, I don't have any good reason to sell for 5 years or more, then stay where you are. But what I don't want for you is that you wake up in 2022 and we have seen the market take a dive, or we have seen that stagnation, and all of a sudden you're wishing for the good old days of 2020 when you could have sold your home and really won on all levels in the sale of your home. So what we're offering to you, those of you who are on tonight, we want to offer you a no obligation visit to your home. Brandon is online with us tonight. There's his email and his phone number. What we do, and I did it twice today, through two of you went to your homes today. We go through and we do an analysis of your home's condition, any recommended improvements, if any. We'll also stop you from doing things that aren't necessary. I met with a gentleman about 2.5 weeks ago that said he was getting ready to invest $4,000 in putting nature stone on his garage floor. And I said, no, don't do that. It'll look beautiful, but you won't get it back. So we will stop you from doing that, but we'll encourage you to do the things that matter. We'll tell you today's value specifically on your home. And then we also bring what's called an estimate of proceeds. It shows you the cost of selling your home, line item for you, so that you'll know what you're going to walk away with. And then also what we can do is sit down with you and say, okay, what are you thinking? Where are you thinking you want to move? And we can give you a very realistic idea of what's available, where it is, what it's going to cost, and how scarce is it or not, to help you plan. What do you want that next step to be? We also can help you make a financial plan, kind of what you're comfortable with moving forward. Are you comfortable with doing a home equity? Are you comfortable with taking from your savings? Do you want to look at the HECM for purchase, which allows you to purchase a home and have no mortgage payment for the rest of your life? We'll go through some of those options with you, and of course point you to the right resource to do that. So jot down Brandon's email or his phone number there, and make sure we hear from you. If you have interest, we'll set it up at your convenience. I don't care if you say, look, it's a year from now or 2 years from now. One couple I met with today are on a 1-year plan. And I said, that's fine. I'll be in business a year from now. That's what our niche is, helping you as guides to walk through that plan and to make sure that you are you have all your ducks in a row, so that you know the first step and the second step and the third step. So again, thank you for your time as we talk about the sale of your home, and I'd love to meet you personally. Our next guest on today's program is I get this question all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. One more prize for you. If you call tonight, or if Brandon sets up an appointment with you from tonight, I'm going to bring, hold on, I should have it here, a copy of my book, the Got Stuff, Get Help book. It is terrific. You've got to wait. Hold on. I've got a copy. Give me 2 seconds. I am so proud. I am almost as proud as when my first child was born. This is a book that we put together during COVID, and I'm just hearing great people just love it. It's 100 pages of resources to get rid of stuff right here in Central Ohio. Organize it, toss it, donate it, sell it. We have it here in this book. It's $30. But what I told Brandon, I said, look, if people are going to give their Tuesday night to us, and if they set up a meeting with us, I'll bring a copy of this with me for you as a gift. So again, if you put in the chat or contact Brandon, we're going to make sure that you're taken care of, and bring a copy of the book. Okay, our next guest tonight, I have online with us tonight, is Justin Shear, who's the Vice President of Trinity Homes, and with him is Shelley McCoy. And I want to talk to them about the new build option. I get this question all the time from people when they say, gosh, there's just nothing out there we want to buy in existing homes. Tell us about the new build process. So welcome, guys, Shelley and
Hi,
Justin.
how are you? Hey, thanks. And you're right about there's nothing out there. I mean, the thing that this whole market is dealing with, and why homes are selling as quickly as they are, is we're clearly underserving the market. And there's a lot of reasons I could talk about for a long time about exactly why that is, but you know, we deal with it. I mean, we're somehow coming out of this pandemic. We're actually, I'm not just talking for Trinity and our other affiliate Homewood, I'm talking about a lot of homeowners. I mean, we're up 170% this year, and that's all in considering that we've had a 300% increase in lumber. And I do think that the buyers that builders, not specific to us, get is they actually do, we don't deal with multiple offers. You know, most of our inventory and most of our new builds aren't open on the MLS. So it is not quite, you know, I say that when you're up 170%, but it's not quite the same frenzy. I just don't deal with multiple offers all the time. So I think that's a very comforting thing, but
let me ask you this. If I'm sitting out here, many of our people on tonight have never had, never built a home. Tell me what a first step would be.
Well, I think the first thing you have to have, a lot of we're fortunate that we do a lot of business with realtors are the ones that a lot of times will bring us over to our locations, and they know about the options that are there. But the first thing is to find a location that you're interested in, and frankly, just go visit the model. I mean, most of everything, in these days with the pandemic, I mean, we're getting everything's coming over online to us. But the first thing is to go talk to a salesperson at any builder and try to understand what your new build option is. Because I don't think with the price escalation on the existing market, new builds have always never been quite as busy. So we haven't dealt with that. So I think, if I was an agent or if I was a buyer, I think I would always want to understand what is my new option. Because often when you don't have to deal with price battles, it's something you need to consider.
What about what if I just go and I kind of know I want a ranch, I kind of know I want a very nice kitchen with an island. Do I have to know all that, or do you provide floor plans that kind of help me make some decisions?
Sure. I guess it depends a little bit on the product. We're fortunate enough that we are a bit of a custom builder, so we can do all of those things. But the whole thing is the people that work for home builders and our company specific, and I'm with Shelly here, and that's what we do for a living, for every moment. So what we need to do is interview that person, and it's not like an existing home. And I certainly don't mean to be beating on existing homes. They're a great option for people, but there are people that are very specific. So our salespeople or any home builder salesperson can interview that person, figure out what's important to them, and they'll go find them the floor plan, the community that will best suit them. In our world, we happen to have the luxury of being able to accommodate those custom changes that people need. So it's something that sometimes you need a little bit of patience for, but for the right customer, it's certainly a benefit.
Shelly, you sit down with customers every day. What choices does my client get when they're building a home new with you?
It does anything, because not only are we a production builder, but we're a custom home builder. So we can rearrange walls, kitchens. We can do just about anything.
What about the price point? I know that you're building all over, but what would our audience expect in terms of what it's going to cost to build a new home with you?
So we definitely have affordable housing, and you spoke about Reynoldsburg earlier. We just closed out Turnberry Farms a few months ago. We still have those contracts to write, but we pre-released 66 lots.
Well, we sold 110 homes before we were available to get any permits, to give you an idea. And those were homes in Pickerington schools under $300,000. So that was, in this market, that's obviously something that's hard to find. New builds are the option there. But
we sold 66 lots in 3 weeks.
Yes, the last 66, right.
What about the time frame? How long does it take if I come into your office and start from scratch? What's the time frame for getting a home done?
So it depends a lot on the buyer, on how quick they are on the front end in terms of going through structural options, financing, and home sale contingencies. But I would probably say between 6 to 7 months from staking or dig of the lot.
And again, we have this problem often. What if they have a home to sell? I mean, can they do a sale of home contingency on a new build?
Very interesting. I can tell you, most of the builders have moved away for various reasons, from contingencies. We've actually been more accepting of a home sale contingency because of the strength of the market. But usually I take those as every deal I take as a one of a kind. If you have a home to sell, oftentimes I'll make you be firm with the deposit with us. As long as they have a realtor that is giving me good information, I think they can give me good market information that we can feel comfortable with starting our product. So I would say with the home sale contingencies, again, people have a lot of different things in our company. I think every home sale contingency is unique, and we need good information. And frankly, we've been doing them because of the market so strong.
Where can our audience find you? What's your website, or how can they reach you to be able to maybe look at some of these floor plans and where your communities are?
Trinity-homes.com.
Trinity-homes.com. Okay.
Yeah.
And Brandon's going to put up there as well how to reach Shelly, to reach out to her. But here's what I would suggest you do. If you're on tonight, you're at all interested, call Shelly, drop in one of the models and have her begin walking through the process with you. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to have a new home. It's a lot of fun knowing you're not going to fight the crowds trying to outbid each other on an existing home. And it gives you a little breathing room to be able to plan and get your home sold and things like that. So anyway, I love you guys. Shelly, Justin, thank you for being with us tonight.
Thanks for having us on, Kathy.
We'll go sell and build some homes for you. Our next guest is Sarah. Now, you heard me talk about Sarah earlier today. Sarah, one of the things the Kathy Cairo Group offers you if you list your home with us is we give you a complimentary staging consultation. That's partially because I love Sarah and partially because I'm really not good at it. So I love, we have Sarah come to your home for a couple hours. She'll walk through room to room and give you very detailed information on how to get your home ready to sell. And so I want to introduce to you Sarah Bean. Sarah, welcome. Tell everyone about your company and what you do.
Yes, hi. Thank you so much. Yes, I help people who are preparing to sell their home, preparing to list, and they wonder, where do I start? What stays, what goes? Are these, red and purple walls appropriate for the market? Do I need to paint? That type of thing. So I love working with sellers and homeowners to help them transform their homes and get them ready for a great sell. All righty. I'm going to get the slides started here. There we go. Yes, so as you're thinking about selling, I like to say you're setting the stage for your next season. Kathy touched on these points, but getting your mind around the top 3 keys to selling a home. Number 1 is your home staging. It's that prep work. And home staging has a couple of steps. The first one would be cleaning, decluttering, updating, painting, doing any repairs you need to do. And then the second one would be, making sure the furniture flow works, that the wall art is updated, and that just everything is in place for the actual professional photos, which would be your second key. You always want to choose a realtor like the Cairo Group who are going to provide you professional photos. Most people, 98% of people are of course looking online first, and professional photos are key to showcase your home. And then the third, Kathy, touched on this as well, making sure it's priced right. And this really will do that. Audra Slinky, who is the president of Home Staging Resources and where I received my staging training, defines home staging as using limited funds, practical creativity, objectivity, market demographic knowledge and real estate knowledge, and expertise to professionally prepare your home to sell. So in a nutshell, it does not have to break the bank, but it yields great results. Your home is then more attractive to buyers, sells more quickly, and makes more money. As Kathy was saying, we are definitely in a hot market. We are seeing homes go really quickly. However, I will say, don't leave money on the table. People do usually want a move-in ready home and they sell for more. I see it over and over. Selling can be an emotional process, and what I love about what I do is helping in that, because the staging process can help. The earlier you get started, the better. So the earlier you're calling Kathy and her team and saying, you know what, I think I'm about ready, and getting that advice early, starting the process, both physically doing that work, also emotionally preparing yourself and walking through that staging process with a stager and with a great realtor helps in that emotional process of really getting yourself ready as much as the home ready for the sale. As Kathy mentioned, they provide the first 2 hours of staging. And I'm one of their stagers. I love working with this group. I love working with the sellers. It's just a lot of fun to get started and to roll up our sleeves. During that consultation, we'll talk about, what updates you have done on your home, what updates you would have liked to do on your home, the things you love about your home. We'll talk about checklists for each room of the home. Curb appeal. What are buyers going to see when they first pull up to your home? We'll talk about furniture flow, decluttering, depersonalizing, lighting, whether you keep window treatments, or sometimes we just say you don't really need those curtains. Let the outdoors come in and showcase your home. Color advice, and then by the end of our time together, I will leave a report with you that you can reference, and you'll have a priority shopping list and all the answers that you would have questions to on what do you need to do to prepare your home for listing. I also provide additional services if you would want me to come back, say for a half a day, or bring in some wall art to kind of complement what you already have. There are lots of options, and I'm with you all the way. We like you to put on buyer's eyes. That's part of that emotional process, is starting to see your home as a product to sell. We want to make you the most amount of money. And one thing that was a shock to me as I got in this business was that most people have a really hard time imagining a different room, a different home, and a different layout than what they see with their eyes. So 80 to 90% of buyers cannot see past your thing, belongings. So staging helps the buyers see themselves in your home as their home and emotionally connect to the home. And staging appeals to a larger segment of buyers. Here are a few before and afters. I do a lot of seller occupied homes, meaning they're still living in the home while they're trying to sell their home. And a lot of times we have blind spots. I know even I do. I will have friends come in from time to time and say, what am I missing here? I want to spruce up this room. And they'll tell me, hey, this is out of place, or we've got a lot of clutter here. This was a guest room of a home that sold within a day, I believe. But it's just a catch-all room. We came in for a half a day of staging. They had put white bedding on. We spruced it up, brought some wall art, and just made sure everything was in place, and it worked. Same thing here, just an awkward space with the living room area, just a lot of clutter, and just making sure it shined so that the buyers could envision themselves and feel like it's roomy and it's fresh and bright. Another cluttered living room with a lot of furniture. So we moved some of this furniture out and made sure it was spruced up, sold multiple offers within the weekend. This was a home that the occupants had actually built 40 years ago. They accumulated a lot of things. And so, you have the curio cabinet there, lots of plants, kind of dated wall art. And so they did not come back to stage this property. They followed our recommendations almost to the T and got their family together to help them. And so they, within, I believe, 2 days for $10,000 over list price. Staging empowers you to be a more relaxed, confident seller. It can help alleviate stress, knowing that there are people walking with you and helping you in that process. It does not all fall on you. And really, it feels great to know that you're putting your best foot forward. I mean, our homes are our safe places. They're, that's where a lot of love is, invested into our homes. And so we want to feel good when we are handing over the keys to someone else that we've done our best with this investment. And staging pays for itself. We always say that staging costs much less than that first price decrease. So you definitely want to make sure that you are putting your best foot forward and staging your home and making sure it's priced right, which is top dollar plus faster sale, and it means happier you. Here's another before and after. They followed our recommendations by having the room painted, taking the wall art down and freshening it up. And we came back and added a few things to their furniture just to make it a little bit more updated and appealing to the buyer. This home was sitting on the market. We came back for a day of staging. They did remove some of the furniture that we asked them to, and it sold, I believe, in 2 days after the home was staged. Furniture placement is key so people can see the features of your property. This was part of that home that was 40 years old, and they had built it themselves. Again, we did not come back and stage this, but they painted, changed the carpet, and just moved their furniture around. And now the buyer was able to envision themselves in the space. Like I've said before, staging puts more money in your pocket, showcases your most precious investment. And we have found statistically that 85% of staged homes sold for 6 to 25% more than their unstaged neighbor. So again, don't leave money on the table. Benefits everyone, both the buyer and the seller. You know, maybe like Kathy said, you're not ready to list, but let's say, you know, probably 4 or 5 years you're going to, and you just need someone to come and say, you know, how do I prepare, you know, even now and in stages to kind of get ready for that listing. I also do redesign consultations where I can come out, talk with you about paint colors, and just some things to do now. And this is what this homeowner did. They weren't ready to sell yet. They wanted me to come. They wanted to enjoy where they were living, but in a more updated way. This home, they just followed my recommendations. Again, I did not come back. They did not do a lot of painting, but just by decluttering, opening up those windows, opening up the curtains, and repositioning furniture, they sold for $10,000 over the first weekend. Here's a vacant. People like to see furniture in homes. They want to know where their bed goes. They want to know where the sofa goes. Staging paid off on this one as well. I always encourage sellers to begin to focus on their next home. So even when they're kind of in the throes of getting ready to move and decluttering and doing all that process, to keep hope on and to be excited about the next steps and begin to focus on the future. And that really helps people get through that process and get really excited about it as well. I love to see sellers get that, you know, like enthusiasm and excitement build up. Almost always I see that and just love that process and walking out with them. Just a few more pictures. You know, find a professional home stager you can trust. When you work with the Kyra Group, you can work with me. I would love to help you. If you want to start now, I have a staging cheat sheet, and all you need to do is you can let Brandon know that you would like that, or you can email me. My email is sarah.altogetherlovely@gmail.com. And this gets you started now. So maybe you're a year, 2, 3 years away, but it will get you started in the thinking of putting on the buyer's eyes, starting that decluttering process, and getting ready to prepare your home for a list. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to any questions you have at the end of the presentation.
Thank you. Let me make sure I'm on here. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Sarah. It's terrific. And one other thing I would note, another thing that the Kathy Kyra Group does for you, in addition to providing Sarah's help, is we use only professional photography. Did you see how fabulous those pictures looked? Those were not done with a smartphone.
Yeah.
Those were done. We use one of the area's top real estate photographers. I don't care if your home is 60,000 or 600,000. You're going to get the best photographer in that house to make your home look super. So we don't want to waste your work. We don't want to waste Sarah's work. When you go to all the work to get your home ready, we're going to make sure that when that buyer sees your home on their smartphone, that it looks terrific, as you saw in those pictures, what it looks like. Okay, what about the rental option? Doesn't that sound crazy when owning a home is the American dream? Well, you all have lived the dream. So some of you are saying, you know what, I'm not sure I want to own a home. in the next few years. But at the same time, I don't want to go live in one of those, millennial stacked apartments with a lot of 25-year-olds. But renting is very attractive to me. We're hearing it more and more, where people say either temporarily or in the long term, they would just rather rent for a while rather than to own a home again. Well, once again, Central Ohio is so blessed to have Trepless Communities here. And the Trepless Communities niche is to do luxury rental. I call it lifestyle rentals for the over 55 demographic. Everything they've done has been to cater to you and to give you a luxurious and fun and comfortable rental option. So with us tonight is Tracy Trowell. She's from Trepless Communities. Welcome, Tracy, and tell us about the rental option for our viewers tonight.
Hi, Kathy. So thank you for having us. We are thrilled to be part of Transition Tuesday and Downsize Columbus. And tonight I'm thrilled to share with you the actual upside to downsizing. So let me get my slideshow started here. All right. So at Trepless Communities, we specialize in 55 plus active adult community living. We are HOPA compliant and we are age restricted. And we brought this new concept to Central Ohio for active adults that just no longer want to manage the maintenance of their home. They don't want to mow the grass. They don't want to shovel snow. They still want to live in a neighborhood and they want to belong to a community. So we are actually redefining 55 plus living with our single story 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes. Our homes feature private entrances, and as you can see from this photo, we have 13-foot cathedral or vaulted ceilings, I should say. We feature natural lighting. You can see we have the transom windows over windows. We have some of our apartment homes have offices and dens. We do specialize in the universal design, which what that means is we're designed to age in place. And so we have 0 steps throughout the community. Even into the garage, there are no steps. We have 0 entry showers. We have wider hallways for mobility purposes. And we also have gourmet kitchens with granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. We feature powder rooms, mud rooms, and again, the oversized 1 and 2 car garages. Our community center or our commons area is really the heart of our community. This is the place where our residents gather and socialize. At our commons area, we have a resort style clubhouse. We feature a catering kitchen in there that's great for parties and casual gatherings. We have a billiards room. We have a state-of-the-art fitness area. We just implemented a Wellbeats fitness app for all of our residents to take advantage of, which has been a really big hit. We have a beautiful community garden just outside of the commons area that our residents love to take part in gardening, growing. This summer at Redbud Commons in Pickerington, they grew tomatoes and cucumbers and just lots of fruits and vegetables, a beautiful cutting garden with flowers. We also have a business center. We have a full array of social events on our social calendar, from tailgate parties to chili cook-offs to ice cream socials to happy hours once a month. So we really do stay very active for our active adults coming into our communities. And we also strive to really search out properties and search out real estate to purchase, to build on, that is within distance, a good distance or a short drive from shopping areas, restaurants, healthcare facilities, around walking paths or metro parks, because we really want our residents to embrace the feeling of community, to get to know their neighbors. Our communities are pet friendly. And again, as I mentioned before, we have the community garden. We also have a beautiful patio that's just outside the backside of our commons area that features a really nice patio furniture. It's another great space for meeting. And the best part about Trepolis Communities is we have it's zero maintenance for our residents. We even change your light bulbs. So we do have 3 communities currently that are up and thriving. We have Hawthorne Commons in Dublin, we have Redbud Commons in Pickerington, and we have Burr Oak Commons in Delaware. And coming soon, we have communities coming to Grove City, Westerville, and Centerville. So we're super excited about that. So I'm going to play a quick video for you. If you're ready to downsize, we would love to show you how 55 plus is the new fabulous. And I'm going to just share a little video with you about our active adult living from our residents. So again, at Trepolis Communities, we are redefining 55 plus living, and we're very passionate about the active adult living space, and we'd love to share our communities with you. And thank you again, Kathy, for having us, and I'll be available for any questions at the end.
Thank you so much. Doesn't that look wonderful? I tell you, renting is not what you think it is in your mind. And one of the things I love about Trepolis Communities, and I have visited their homes, is that they live like homes. Many of you are saying, gosh, the rental option sounds attractive, but I really don't want to live in an apartment where I hear people's kids and dogs over my head and things like that. And these properties live like homes. So I encourage you to reach out to Trepolis, visit one of their models, and get to know them. They're great people. And again, the rental option might be something that is attractive to you. Another one of our great partners here that we work with, the Kathy Cairo Group, which, by the way, we just work with the best. We do. We have some of the best resources here in Central Ohio. And another one that we work with is 2 Men in a Truck Moving. And the reason I love Steve Barton is he's very, very practical. He knows how much work moving is, and he asked us, Steve was actually busy tonight, but he asked us to share with you this video, so that you can take a look at what about the move process.
Hello there.
Hello there. My name is Steve Barton. I'm the general manager with 2 Men in a Truck Moving Storage here in Central Ohio.
Just wanted to
prepare you for
your move that's coming up, and we understand
moves
are stressful, right?
Moves are stressful,
and our responsibility
right?
is
to try and work with you to
make that
see
a
what
much
we can do
smoother
to
transition.
smoother
Walk you
transition,
through a few
and
steps
obviously walk you through a few steps
on
what we can
assist
do
you
to
in this
assist
transition.
you in this
First, I want to thank Kathy
First, I
Cairo
want
and
to
her
thank
team.
Kathy
I really
Cairo and her
appreciate
team.
the
I really
partnership that we've
appreciate
built.
the partnership that we've built, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of Transition Tuesdays. And so I want to kind of start off with a couple steps on how we would want to prepare for your move. I call this 2 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days. And so here are some things that I think will benefit you in the future when you look at downsizing and then also relocating all of your items. So the first part of this is the estimating process, right? We are in a funny time right now with the housing market, and we used to be booked out, and we are booked out 3 to 4 weeks. But right now what we're seeing is the contracts are so quick, and there is no such thing as a contingency, it seems. And so those, we have a lot of people that are calling within 10 days of wanting to move. And so my suggestion to you is gather your estimates, call around. But one of the most important things that I can say to you about when shopping around is talk a lot about the hiring standards and what type of individuals other moving companies are going to hire and bring into your home to do the service. So, but just starting off, you want to start compiling your budget and your estimates. So get a folder prepared for that, and make sure that that's handy when you are asking those questions of these other moving companies. So medical records, anything that's sensitive. This is a time where you probably got some stuff that's in the basement that's been stored for the last 6, 7, maybe even longer years. You have a closet that might have some records in it, and then you have your main office space that has your most current records. Have a shredder available and be ready to start purging. You don't want to procrastinate. I know that some of the moves that we've experienced that aren't the best tend to be the ones that procrastinate and they forget about stuff, or they just run out of time, and then we show up and it becomes a lot more stressful than it should be. You're going to have to kind of break this down into what do you want to take with you? What do you want to sell? Maybe make some money. We have auctioneers that we've worked with before. We can recommend those, and I know Kathy and her team have recommendations for that as well. And then you also have to know, what am I going to dispose of? What am I going to, trash? And or maybe you're going to have a garage sale, and want to try and sell off some of the stuff that you have there. Plan on how you're going to move valuables. We don't want those in our possession, and I think that it's important that if you do have valuables that you have in a bedroom or in a secured space, make plans to take care of that stuff yourself, and make sure that it's secured off to the side. So some things to kind of think about: clearly labeling boxes, and make sure that you about 2 months out, you want to get packing supplies. You don't want to be scrambling for packing supplies. And so if you want to purchase some packing supplies, you can always feel free to give us a call, of course. We have a couple options on how we can get those to you, or you can come into our office and we can work with you on some options for that. We got specialty boxes. One of the most popular things is nobody wants to move hanging clothes, correct? You walk into your closet and you see a bunch of clothes, and to carry all those things out in hangers would be pretty tough, and it tends to be a kind of a pain. But we have wardrobe boxes, and we'd be more than happy to discuss those with you as well, along with picture boxes, bubble wrap, and of course packing paper. And so about 2 months out, you're gathering budget, you're gathering estimates,
asking a lot of great questions from
the services that you're calling upon. And then also making sure that you're kind of breaking things down into, what am I taking, what am I selling, and what am I going to discard of? And so that's what we're looking at for 2 months out. So my suggestion is, once 2 weeks gets here, maybe you want to go a little sooner than that, maybe 3 weeks. Start choosing one room per night, 1 room per day. Don't get overwhelmed where you have to, look around and you're like, oh my goodness, I got, 7 to 8 rooms worth of stuff that needs packed up. Do yourself a favor and pick a room per night, and kind of walk yourself through, like, okay, I'm going to pack up pictures, I'm going to pack up lamps in the bedroom tonight. That's my one goal, and start checking those things off your list. That's a great way of looking at it. And that way, if you have a little bit of a grace period there, then you're not going to be so stressed where maybe the last couple days come down to you got a few things to do here and there. If it's not something you're interested in doing, we do have a packing service that we offer, and we can work with you on an estimate on what it would take to do your whole house. Or if you're interested, we can just do a la carte kind of thing where you can say, hey, just focus on my kitchen. I really don't want to worry about that, but I can worry about the bedrooms. Not a problem. We're an hourly service, and so we can kind of work around that. In our hourly rate includes all the packing materials, so you don't have to think about, like, what do I need? What does that price list look like? It is going to be a full service. Here's the hourly rate with the 2, 3, or 4 movers or packers, and we'll bring all the packing material that we need to go ahead and secure your place. But about 2 weeks out, you want to start thinking also about services that, like a water service, utilities, gas, telephone, cell phone, sewer, trash collection. These are all places that you're going to want to start gathering all of your information, contact information, and allowing them to know in 2 weeks from now, please disconnect from this address and please reconnect to this address. plan on how you're going to transport any kind of live plants that you might have. We'll do it, but we saw, we know that that's not the safest way for us to move live plants on the back of our truck. So if that's something that you have, and then of course, any kind of corrosives or gasolines, oils, chemicals, that's something that we're not going to want to transport. First of all, we're not licensed to do so, but second of all, we don't want that stuff spilling and stinking up the couch or some of your nice furniture. We don't want to put those things together in the back of the truck where something might spill. And then of course you have your professionals, right, that you have worked with over the last several years: accountants, attorneys, doctors, financial planners, health providers. Make sure that you have their information, under control, where you have a checklist, and keep that stuff in a box safely to the side. You don't want this stuff to get mixed up with the rest of the move and the supplies that are going to be moved around in the boxes and such, right? And so also any kind of medications, anything that you have to have on a day-to-day basis, make sure you start separating that, get that in your own main box, and make sure that that's labeled properly, and then maybe leave it in your, take it in your vehicle, take it to your new place, or at least set it aside to where it's separated from the main move. And then of course we know people have pets, right? You want to make arrangements for that. It's not only stressful to you, but it's going to be stressful to your pets as well. So make arrangements with maybe a travel cage, or somebody can watch them, or maybe you have a board, where you can take your animals to have them boarded for a short period of time. But make sure you're looking out for that as well. So parking accommodations, that's something we're going to look for just to make sure that we have proper parking for our larger trucks. And then make sure you plan for meals and such, right? You're going to be in a transition where you may not have an opportunity to make your meals at your location. On either end, on the address that you're moving out of or the address you're moving into. And so think about what you're going to do to plan for meals and what you're going to do over those 72 hours of to eat. And then we're about 2 days out, right? I understand there's a little bit of anxiety, maybe a lot of anxiety, but you want to contact the moving company that you scheduled with. And you want to do a confirmation and make sure that you review everything that was discussed prior to this day. Ask them a lot of questions. They're going to also do confirmation with you as well. And notify your friends and family of a new phone number, new address. We talked about packing the essential box. Make sure that that's done. Make sure that anything that has gasoline in it, maybe a couple days out, maybe like, an example would be a lawnmower. We don't want to take the gasoline that's in that lawnmower and it happens to spill. So there's something that we can discuss. And then you want to make sure that prescriptions are filled ahead of time so you don't run out of anything like that, like we discussed earlier, where you don't have that in your essential box. Something to kind of maybe save some time and money. If this is something that you would like to kind of reduce your budget a little bit, with us, we're an hourly service, and so if boxes are moved to a centralized location, that would be a lot quicker for our guys to just grab stuff and move with it. It's okay that if it's upstairs or down in the basement, but if time is money, at least with our service, then you want to see if you can centralize that stuff maybe into a garage, some of the smaller stuff like smaller boxes, or centralize it into a downstairs living room area. We can go ahead and start grabbing and going on that stuff. Also, part of our service is to disassemble and reassemble beds, for example. But if that stuff's disassembled prior to us arriving, then we don't have to spend time on that, and we can just go ahead and grab the beds and go ahead and move those out as well. And then electronics, make sure that they're disconnected prior to us arriving. And, any rooms that might have furniture that was maybe assembled inside of it, just some things to kind of think about that we might have to disassemble before we can even get it out of the room. Not a problem, but if you're looking to save a little bit on your budget, then if we can just come in, grab the stuff and go, that's a plus. If you're conscious of your budget, if not, then we are happy to do as much as you'd like. So I can't stress enough to contact your movers locally here in Central Ohio and talk to them about their training process of their movers. That's one thing that we take a lot of pride in. We're not looking for just somebody. We're looking for that person that's going to come in and communicate with you and help you gain their trust We know that you've worked so hard for everything that you have in your home, and that's the way we train our individuals that come out to your house to do that relocation. I think the first 10 to 15 minutes of that conversation is a lot. It means a lot to us, and I know it means a lot to you. And so if this is something that you're interested in working with us on, feel free to contact our office. Our phone number here is 614-224-MOVE. That's 614-224-MOVE, 6683. And we'd be more than happy to kind of walk you through. And if you have any questions, after Transition Tuesdays, feel free to reach out to me directly. My number is 614-901-1570. My extension here is 108. That's 614-901-1570, extension 108. Thanks a lot for tuning in, and I really appreciate Kathy and her team and partnering with us.
Thank you, Steve. Can you hear me okay? Someone give me a thumbs up. All right. We just appreciate Steve Barton. He's a great guy and provides tremendous service to all of our clients when we put them to work. Well, that is the wrap up of our guest tonight. I also want to remind you, some of you have asked about that HECM for purchase mortgage. We want to make Anne Marie Steeman is our contact at Mutual of Omaha Mortgage, and she's the one who gives that provides that great loan that allows you to put half down on your home, a new home, and then have no mortgage payments for life. So Mary has put up Anne Marie's email on there. If you want to talk with Anne Marie Steeman, shoot her an email. And she has Tuesday night virtual classes. In fact, one of the reasons her team couldn't be with us tonight is they're doing classes on this particular loan. So we want to thank our corporate sponsor, Mutual of Omaha Mortgage, Anne Marie Steeman, and of course you can look in your chat box and see the contact information there. Again, want to show you once again, tell you about the book, Got Stuff, Get Help. This book is free to you if I come out to your home. Thank you for the those of you who have already signed up. If you just prefer to buy it, let me let you take a look at the book. And again, it tells you how to get a copy.
Got too much stuff? Of course you do. Downsizing expert Kathy Cairo brings you Got Stuff, Get Help. The complete guide to the who to, where to, and how to of getting rid of stuff. This easy-to-use reference book features over 100 pages of Columbus-based businesses and nonprofit organizations. Sell it, donate it, toss it, organize it. It's all here. New York Times best-selling author Peter Walsh offers his decluttering tips, and Kathy shares her insights from years of helping homeowners just like you. Read the stories of local business owners, find value in the things you were going to throw away, and be encouraged to start your own journey to a simpler life. Get your copy today. Got Stuff? Get Help. The book is $30 plus tax and shipping. Order your copy today at downsizecolumbus.com. Look for the Got Stuff, Get Help link.
And thank you. We thank all of you for joining us tonight. It's always a pleasure to see you online. We look forward to seeing you in person, and we're going to be really striving in 2021 to get back into a live interaction when we know it's safe and healthy to do so. But in the meantime, we appreciate you coming and joining with us on a Tuesday night. All of our contact information is there in the chat box. Feel free to call us or talk to Brandon if you'd like to set up an appointment for one of us to come out to your house. In the meantime, and watch your email for this, on December 1st, we're going to try to put together a downsizing roundtable where we have all of our top expert in legal, financial, medical, residential, and emotional all in one place to take your questions virtually. So watch your email. We'll be telling you more about that. And again, thank you for joining us tonight in our Transition Tuesdays. I'm Kathy Cairo with Keller Williams Greater Columbus. You can find me and my team at ourohiohome.com. That's ourohiohome.com. Thank you for joining us.